This is the festive special. This feeling in the air that everyone wants to travel during this time of the year. Why do you think that is?
I think the main reason is the season. The festive season in India is really long, and actually it starts from Ganpati itself.
Yeah.
And I think one of the best ways to celebrate is to travel.
If I want to travel with friends during this time, what are some destinations?
I think Hampi, or going from Goa towards Hampi with Yana rocks in between and a little bit of trekking and hiking, that works wonderful.
What are some great New Year destinations?
Australia, that would be a great place to be in, because the Sydney,
First
the
fireworks
first
of the
fireworks of the year. And so even as a solo traveler, I would say step out during the festivals, because then there's always someone you're enjoying it with.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Travel, Explore, Celebrate Life. This is the festive special. We are in that quarter which has festivals like Diwali, Christmas. There is a celebration which is New Year's that's also going to happen. That's why we decided that it is time for a festive special on Travel, Explore, Celebrate Life. So I'm going to pick Sunila's brain on where we should travel to, what are some different experiences that one can get during this time of the year. So without wasting any time, let's get into it. Sunila, first question, simple question. Why do you think everyone feels like traveling during this time of the year? Whether it's Diwali, whether it's Christmas, or in between, right? There's just this feeling in the air that everyone wants to travel during this time of the year. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think the main reason is the season, and we just move out of the monsoon, and we move out of everything, and celebration starts. Like I like to tell all my friends abroad that the festive season in India is really long, and actually it starts from Ganpati itself, right? From Ganesh Chaturthi until New Year, every few days there's something happening, and like we say at Veena word, celebrate life, right?
Yeah.
So with every new festival that comes in, you want to celebrate, and I think one of the best ways to celebrate is to travel, and I think that's why there's this general feeling in the air that let's go out, and especially those who are traveling within India or traveling to Asia, all those places here. The weather's just perfect for travel.
Yeah.
And you want to be out, you want to see new things, you want to do other things. Plus, with the festivals for families, there's the school holidays that come in, and the planning starts. And that is the time that you can spend with your family. You can travel. So, all of that combined, and there's so much choice also, right? Like so many things to do. Probably the exams are over, and so many destinations come into their own during this season. So I think that's it. It all adds up, and you want to be out at this time.
Awesome. So I decided to divide this episode into 5 different parts, right? I want to talk about different types of travelers. So I'll start with solo travelers. You're going to Malta, you said, right? And you're doing it with a friend. And I know that you've done a lot of solo trips. You've done a lot of trips where it's just you and maybe one more friend of yours. And that's still a solo trip in some way or the other. So during this time of the year, what are some solo trip destinations that you would recommend? And sometimes I would think of budget, right? So what are some budget friendly destinations also?
And also for solo travel, actually any and every destination works out. Of course, the first and the most important thing always is safety, because when you're alone, you have to be so planning it right, speaking to a travel planner, making sure people know where you're going, making sure that all the arrangements are done properly. All of that works. And I think I want to start with the most trending destination I can say of current times, and you're going there, Georgia. And we just planned like a 10-day trip to Georgia for a solo traveler. And she was funny. Actually, she's nice lady who's married. But she said the way to a happy marriage is if I travel alone and my husband travels alone and we go to 2 different places and don't see each other on holiday. And that keeps our marriage really happy. So that's their take on it. And she's actually really had a great time. And we've made sure that we've catered it to her liking. So she loves architecture, she loves design, and the whole trip was made to for that,
suit
was catered
her
for
needs.
that.
Yeah.
And then of course we gave her a list of things to do, things to eat, because when you're alone, I often find one thing when you're traveling alone is you start thinking that, can I go to a restaurant? Should I just order room service? Will it be okay? But it's really okay. And I've noticed that nobody gives you a second look, because sometimes in India we think, na, if I go and sit alone in a restaurant, how will it be? But it's quite cool. And a lot of people often take takeaways, but if you just stick to one meal or one portion, you're fine. So we actually have a list and things to eat and things to do.
My biggest problem
Yeah.
when I travel alone,
Uh-huh.
I want to eat everything on the menu, but I can just order one or two dishes. And there have been times where I've been to a restaurant and everything looks so good that I've just ordered for 3 or 4 dishes. And I was in Bangkok one time, and I like Thai food. So I ordered the shrimp fried rice. I ordered the basil chicken. I ordered the steamed fish in lime sauce. And I also ordered the, what is it? The salad, the somtam, right? And of course, I'm not going to finish it. So I packed it all up, got it back to Mumbai on my flight, and that night's dinner was the same thing.
Well,
So
that
that is
whatever
that is
works,
a
right?
that is a
Yeah.
problem that I often face. Okay, so
I've
Georgia.
actually had a few
Yeah.
meals, and I've had the drivers or the guides join me, and I buy them
Oh, yeah,
lunch or
that's a
dinner,
good way to
and
understand the
then what
place
happens
also.
is they tell you what to order. They do have the work for you, and then you enjoy it better, because then it's like real cultural immersion
Yeah.
and knowing the place well, right?
Yeah.
I've also seen women travel alone and for Oktoberfest, and we've actually done all the bookings and everything for someone who's going in, who went in, and she had a great time. She said, I didn't feel alone at all. It was just so much fun. So I've been to Tunisia alone, and I wanted to do a new destination. I said, I want to do something very different. So I think when you're going solo, your mind opens up to newer and newer destinations. So pick out all those offbeat places that you've kept aside in your bucket list when you're traveling solo, I think.
Awesome. I think that's a good brief list. And in India, if I were to think about it, I would say the Andaman Nicobar Islands to
Yes.
get your Discover Scuba license is also a good way to travel solo. You could travel to many of the beaches around India. That's also a great time to travel because the weather is nice. Okay, that's for solo travelers. Now, for people like Heta and me, right? Families with kids.
Yes.
If you want to travel somewhere, what comes to your mind? We've done a separate episode on this too, but quickly, what do you think?
I think, Neil, the first thing that comes to my mind, and we've said this before, is Singapore. And with the Disney cruise starting from Singapore now, that's going to be a super attraction for the kids, because then you can stay in Singapore City and then go on board Disney. And I've seen I think we spoke about this when in our family friendly episode, when Sarah was a little child and she went to Disney, she went crazy, crazy with the characters. So imagine being on a cruise and having the characters with you. The kids would love it. So I think Dubai would be another one, Dubai and Abu Dhabi, because you could be in a theme park every day. It's close to home.
Yeah.
You don't have to, and especially with a family, maybe you're more people traveling, right? So, the budget and the price also does matter. So the number of airfares and everything is in multiples.
Yeah.
So I think a short haul destination where you can get to quickly, have a direct flight so that you just sit and you get down and then you're there, and you don't have to worry about traveling for too long, and then it doesn't make the kids cranky. So, and there's always something fun happening all the time. So with so many parks, so many attractions, Dubai would be definitely, a little bit of adventure.
So these are short
a
haul
good mix.
destinations,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Long haul?
Long haul, I think the US is the best if you do have a visa. Of course, if you don't, then apply quickly. And, the US consulate has also opened out quite more visa appointments. So make sure you get that visa, because along with that, there are so many advantages and everything opens out. You could go to Mexico, you can be in Cancun, you can do so many other things even when you add that. And of course, Europe is something that is evergreen.
It's like a winter playground, right?
Correct. And Neil, like you remember we spoke about this, that what's a good age for kids to start learning skiing. And they often say that as early as 2 or 3 years old. And I've seen them in France and Switzerland when I went for these ski workshops. And I was also trying my hand at skiing. And you feel crazy because you don't know how to. And these little 3, 4-year-olds, like kangaroos in between the parents' legs, they're going down the ski slopes. It's a sight to remember. And I think if you can do that, if budget is not the constraint and you're happy doing something like that, the kids will learn things so much faster. So towards the New Year and Christmas and later on through Jan Feb, I would say that would be great. And right now also Europe is a great place to be. So if you want the weather to be milder, somewhere near the Mediterranean, and again they have nice beaches, or go up to the cities and again Euro Disney and so many other things to do.
One conundrum that parents always face is school holidays, right?
Right.
And different school boards have different holidays. So if I were to go to Europe during Diwali, right, are the Christmas lights up in all cities or is it too early?
So Diwali probably is a little too early. Typically mid-November is when the lights come on. I would say after the first week is when it comes on. But if the Diwali vacation is a 2-week vacation, then enjoy the festival at home and leave just after the festival, and you'll be probably lucky with the Christmas lights at most places.
Okay. Now we spoke about solo travelers. We spoke about families going away with kids. But we only spoke of where to travel during Diwali and where to travel during, say, the Christmas time. Now, if I were to look at New Year's,
Yeah.
we often say that New Year's is a time when everywhere in the world is busy.
Yeah.
So plan early.
Right.
So if someone's watching this and they want to travel during Diwali, Christmas, and then New Year's also, they'll have to book their New Year's before they plan their other travels.
Right.
So for these types of travelers, solo travelers or families with kids, what are some great New Year destinations and how do these destinations differ from each other?
So I would say Australia. That
Yeah.
would be a great place to be in, and we've had families also book their New Year holidays specifically to see the New Year in Sydney. Because the Sydney
First
the
fireworks
first
of the year.
fireworks of the year, and they look so amazing. We've all seen it on TV, and once Sydney starts celebrating, you know that we're going to be celebrating very soon. And Australia has, with all the indigenous animals that you see there, animals and kids are a great combination together. And if the children can see them not in fences, like they say, a zoo without fences. So if you can see them in their natural habitat, you see the kangaroos hopping around. Just imagine the joy on a child's face, right? So that would be a great place to go in. I would even say Bali would be another really nice place, kind of a little closer to home, where you can go in with as a family. There are some fantastic things to do there, and
But
if
for
the
New
kids
Year's,
are
you think?
older, why not? I mean, I guess you can be anywhere in the New Year's,
And you're just going to have
yeah,
fun.
you have fun. I've actually had a family who had a very specific request and something very different, and they said they did not want the fireworks, but they wanted to be under the stars.
Wow.
And I thought the best place to be under a nice open sky would be Africa. So this whole family of 13 people went into Tanzania, and then we arranged all these special meals for them, and they actually had a starlit sky, and they had their dinner for the New Year and a celebration under the stars, and then animals naturally, and game drives and safaris. So that was something very special.
I'm glad you say that because it just brought to my mind what are the different New Year experiences that one can do. So, of course, there are the fireworks.
Yeah.
There are New Year experiences where you and your loved ones are maybe in a villa somewhere and just enjoying. You brought up celebrating New Year's under the starlit sky. I remember there was a request that once came in that they wanted to celebrate New Year's doing a night dive in the Andaman Islands.
Right.
So, scuba diving at night, just when the clock strikes midnight. That's when they went diving. That was one. Another one was for Japan, where they wanted to go skiing, but night skiing, just when the clock struck 12.
Yeah.
And one of the coolest things about Japan's New Year's is they don't celebrate it because it's considered very spiritual and they like to go to the temple the next day. So once I spent New Year's in Japan and it was all quiet. On the first, everything is closed, right? Literally everything is closed. But one of the best things was that there was night skiing every single evening. So that was also pretty cool. So yeah, that's
I
that.
think, Neil, I want to add one more place. And I was in Spain recently, and I thought like it's just written in the books, but they actually do that. They eat like a grape, they eat 12 grapes on New Year's, and they celebrate every hour, and they do all of that. So if you want to really do something fun, the way the locals do, that would be one place to go. And one more thing I want to add is that many a times, why do we avoid going out on New Year's is the crowds.
Yeah.
You don't want to get stuck somewhere. Yes, you want to see the fireworks, you want to do things, but you don't want to be in a place where, you're queuing up to come back home, or you're not getting transport to come back home. So I feel that one of the best ways to celebrate a New Year is on a cruise. Because there's only the limited number of
Yeah,
people.
that's a good
People
idea.
cannot increase. So, the you have the same gentry, and then there are so many activities planned that you never have to, oh, I won't get a seat. All those issues are taken away.
Yeah.
And then you can have a great time. So I think for Christmas and New Year's, I would probably say cruises would be one of my favorite things to do.
Now, here I want to ask you this peculiar question that I've often wondered, right? And of course, once I got into the travel industry, I understood why. Most of the time, every time I am trying to get rates for a hotel for New Year's, they will say New Year surcharges apply.
Yes. Yeah.
Why is that? Like, why do I have to pay another 10,000, 12, 20,000, 30,000 for as a New Year surcharge? What is
It
that?
seems unfair, right?
Yeah, sometimes.
But try
Yeah.
booking a meal here. If you wanted to go and celebrate, say in Mumbai, you would probably go in and there would be a special menu for Christmas or for New Year's, right?
Yeah.
And you would end up paying more.
Correct.
So it's the same thing that happens in the hotels. So the surcharge is not so much for the stay, but it's for the meal. And I think you want to be in the resort or in the hotel, because after New Year's, you don't want to sit somewhere and then travel back.
Yeah.
So I guess, that's the way to make money as well. And there is so much of demand. It's a demand supply thing. With a
Yeah.
limited supply and more
Totally.
demand, they are going to charge a little more. So yeah, and I think if you do it in advance, then you're assured of a spot.
What's on my New Year bucket list? Sometime in my life, I want to really do it. I want to celebrate New Year's in either Melbourne or Sydney or in Tokyo. And
I
as
know where
soon
you're
as
going.
as soon as New Year's is done,
Yeah.
I want to fly to the US
Right.
and celebrate New Year's again, because
Yeah.
you go
Yeah.
back in time, right? And it's like a 9 or 10-hour flight. And then once you land in the US, it's still the 31st
Right.
of December over there. So maybe if someone's listening and
great
you want to
idea.
do a bucket
Yeah.
list item, you could celebrate New Year's like
Twice,
that. Twice, right? Twice in the same year. So Sunila, now let's come to my third point, right? At Veena World, we recently started this new initiative that, instead of giving material things as gifts to your loved ones, gift a holiday, gift a tour, right? And that's why we came up with that gift a tour section on the website. Now, if I want to, because this is the season of gifting. Diwali is about gifts. My birthday is during this time, so people give me gifts. You also better give me a gift. But
holiday for sure.
yeah, there's Christmas, there's New Year, so you feel like gifting something to people, and we have seen people gift someone a gift voucher of maybe 5,000 rupees, or someone has gifted someone like a 3 lakh rupee holiday also, right? So if I wanted to gift something to my parents, my uncle, auntie, or someone I love, what are some of the great gifting options that you recommend?
So Neil, the whole world is open actually. So starting from, it depends on how much you want to give, but you could gift an entire India holiday, for example, because
entire India holiday.
India holiday, 30, 40, 50,000 rupees could be that. Or you can give a gift, a part of the tour price if you want to. So you don't have to basically fund for the whole holiday, but give in some amount. So which encourages them to travel. And I think it's a great gift because with everything else, you'll probably keep eating the gift that is given to you, mostly chocolates or sweets or other stuff, and it's over, right? But with a holiday, the memories are there forever with your photos and other things, and there's just so much happiness. So I would say anywhere in India right now, especially Rajasthan and Kerala, now is the best time to go to these places. Madhya Pradesh or literally anywhere in India is a great time to be right now. So it could be a gift that they can actually use now during the festive season. So I think that would be a great point. And then I would even say Europe, because more and more I'm seeing that Switzerland is a dream for everyone to go. France is something people have been waiting, especially after the Olympics. A lot of people have missed out on traveling to France this year. Now's the time to be there. the UK and London is amazing during Christmas times. And like you mentioned sometime back, the Christmas lights will go on, and these stay for long. The Christmas markets also come on, and again, this is a
Oh,
segment
yes.
that is growing. So all through Central Europe, Prague, Vienna, Budapest, Austria, Germany, and everywhere, Switzerland, Interlaken, all these places have Christmas markets. And I don't know if you've been to a Christmas market before, but I've been to two or three. And even in Baku, actually, I was there, and there was a fantastic Christmas market with little wooden chalets, food
Nice.
to eat, and that mulled wine, and the whole atmosphere is just so festive and happy, and that would be a great thing to gift. And if you really want to give a good gift and you have no problem of the budget, then why not a Scandinavia holiday? Like, go and meet Santa himself. I think that would be such a
You know,
fantastic gift.
speaking of gifting, right? A friend of mine was gifted um, a holiday to the Maldives for, I think, his wedding. And it was a few friends who got together and were like, okay, let's gift something. And one of the best things about when friends contribute and do it, they were like 20, 30 people who got together and gifted this Maldivian holiday, right? And I asked him how his trip was after he came back. And he's like, bro, if I were to tell you, I can't go to Maldives ever again. So I was like, why? Right? So what these guys had done was these guys clubbed like 20, 30 people clubbed together and sizable budget. They bought a super nice Maldives
Maldivian,
resort
yeah.
and one of the best rooms in that resort.
Okay.
Right? And so they
Like a pool
basically
villa or something, I guess.
no,
Something really
this was like
special.
5-star Uber luxury
Okay.
and the best villa in that resort. So that
Okay.
could be like a sunset
Yeah,
villa
yeah, yeah,
with
yeah. Over water villa where you can get
and
into
all of
the
that.
ocean.
And
Yeah.
he's like, I know that my Okad is never of this villa, but my friends got together and like they gifted
But
me this villa, right?
yeah.
And he's like, it just struck me that giving such a gift during a wedding is so much better than just giving anything material, right? And that's why he had a memorable Maldives holiday. And he's like, I'm glad that this happened because otherwise I would have gone to a regular resort and I would have enjoyed, no doubt. But I got to experience this Uber luxury. Now I feel like going to any luxury resort because now I know what a big budget can get you, right? So
I
that
think
was,
that's the best part of a gift, right? Being
yeah.
able to give something which otherwise the person wouldn't think of. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Now, speaking of friends, if I want to travel with friends during this time, what are some destinations?
Neil, there are so many destinations, and I think it depends on what you want to do with your friends. But I remember my daughter Sarah was planning a friend's holiday because all her friends are coming from all around the world, and they all get their break now. They come in now, and I think the discussion went on for some 1 month probably, and finally I had to step in and say, stop talking so much about it. Just plan. But I understand it's college students who have maybe not so much budget and they wanted adventure activities, they want to stay together. Like there were so many things that they want to do. And they started with, let's go to India, let's go to Jaipur, or let's go to Udaipur. But then they want to party as well. So then they came to Goa. And I think Goa is also a great place for a friend's holiday. And then I told them, why don't you extend by going down to Dandeli?
Oh, yeah?
And having some nice adventure activities there. Like you could do rafting, you could do hiking, and a safari and stuff like that. So I think if you're doing Goa as a friend's trip, don't do just Goa. Like, yes, you want to party, but how much will you party, right?
Yeah.
So go in and do something like that. And the Maharashtra tours that we've launched. So if you go into Tarkarli and things, you can actually stay in a houseboat.
Yeah.
You can do backwater rides. You can zip line down close to Tarkarli. Not exactly in Tarkarli, but in Konkan, there's actually zip lining, which is one of the few places where you can zip line to a beach. So combine the holidays and then come down to Goa, stay in North Goa, fly out from Mopa. So again, that was another thing. I think Hampi, or going from Goa towards Hampi with Yana rocks in between and a little bit of trekking and hiking, that works wonderful. And then Pondicherry. Pondicherry is also an amazing place to be
Good weather
with
too,
friends.
right? Yeah.
Good weather, seeing you'll probably be awake all night, so you'll get to see the sunset on the beach anyways,
Yeah.
which is something
You can learn surfing with your friends.
you
there.
can learn
Yeah.
surfing with your friends. And then there is the Pichavaram Park where you can go kayaking also. So Mangrove Park, so you can do kayaking there. So many things to do out there. So I felt like these were a few places in India that you could definitely go to. Uh, with you guys, I would probably say like places like Azerbaijan would do really well.
Baku's on my list.
Baku's probably on your list as well, and there are, and not just Baku. Go beyond Baku. Go to Gabala. Go to Yanardag. Do excursions and combine it. But you could do Baku and Georgia together as well. So again, that's something that could work. And then if your friends who like to drive, then a road trip is fantastic. And some of the best drives are in New Zealand. One
Knew you would
place
say that.
I enjoy driving. I've driven alone there. I've driven when I was stuck in a snowstorm and I didn't have a flight. And I drove all the way from Queenstown to Christchurch. So I've just enjoyed driving in New Zealand so many times that I want to go back and do like, I don't know, 15, 20-day trip just driving because no traffic, nothing, and you can have a blast. And then there's so many places to see and do things.
I would
And
like to mention Antarctica also because we have an expedition going during or
Right.
just close to Christmas, right, to
Yeah.
Antarctica. So if budget is not a concern, go with your friends to Antarctica.
Why not?
Why not?
And
right?
it'll be actually it would be a very nice thing to do because when you're on a cruise like Antarctica, Neil, you have a lot of free time. And that would be such a great time to bond. Make sure you have your cards and you have your other, things, and just have so much fun.
But do an expedition and not a cruising experience in Antarctica is what you recommend. right?
Yes, definitely.
And what is the difference? Quickly.
So, to go very quickly into it, when you go on the bigger cruise ships, you can't even get close to the land.
Yeah.
You're not actually setting foot on the land. You're not getting into a zodiac. You're going close there. You're seeing the place and coming back. If you want a true experience, get into the smaller ships, and I mean ships that have about 200 passenger capacity, and then you are into a zodiac and you actually land on Antarctica.
So our trips are expeditions, right?
Expeditions. You're paying all the way to go there to set foot on the seventh continent. So don't miss out on that.
Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. Now we spoke about solo travelers. We spoke about traveling with kids. We spoke about traveling with friends, different age groups. We spoke about gifting and gifting a holiday instead of just material things. Now the fifth point that I wanted to discuss on this episode was planning, right? Often I see my friends just scrambling towards Diwali, towards Christmas. अरे पता ही नहीं है किधर जाना है. Like I've not planned it. I should have planned it before. Now everything's expensive, and you know the story. But when we were researching for this episode, you told me that there are some of our guests, some of your friends also, who like to sit down with a calendar at the start of the year or at the half year point and really plan travels during this time of the year. So, in terms of planning, what are some of the tips that you have for us when we are thinking of traveling during Diwali, Christmas, or New Year's?
Neil, we've already spoken that booking early always helps, right? So I've seen, and you mentioned these, my friends who plan their holidays and they plan it for the whole year. I love them because they come to me and they're never booking one holiday. They're booking at least 3 to 4 or 5 holidays for the year because they know exactly when they're going to be taking their leaves. They block their calendar for the year and then it's easy. Then you just have to plan where to go, what to do, and add the experiences, right? But the dates are fixed and that helps a lot because it helps everything when you're booking early. You have the choice for everything from hotels to flights to destinations, attractions, theater tickets, everything is easily available. So it helps in all of that and it does help to keep the price lower as well, right? So I think the best way to plan, and this is now something that as Raya grows up, you would know better and better because the minute the school calendar comes in hand, that is the time to start planning. So, mid-time in, say, I think when children start going to school, June, July, and they have the school diary, and that gives out the list of the holidays. So, if you're planning mid-year, that's a great time because the school vacations, block off the dates, book the tickets, and then you're free, or book the tour if you're going with a tour. And if not, then now we'll be moving towards January and, the almanacs, like they're called Kal Nirnay and, other things, calendars like that. They have the dates for the festivals that come in. So once you have the festival dates, block out those festival dates. And often I've seen people have this dilemma that should I stay at home for the festival or should I be on tour for the festival, right? I think if you're with the whole family, then you can definitely go to to the destination or on your holiday during the festival as well. But yes, if you want to spend the festival at home, what my friends do is they divide. So the first day or the first 2 days of the festival are always at home. They have their sweets and their parties and everything here. And as soon as that is over, they step out.
That's a good strategy.
Yeah. So if it's like 5 days of Diwali, 2 days at home and then leave,
Yeah.
and they go and then they get the best of both. And especially in India, during Diwali, if you're traveling, then a lot of the hotels will have special things and special arrangements done. And it's quite nice to see that. And the same holds true for Christmas all around the world. There's always going to be something special. So you're not never going to feel alone. So even as a solo traveler, I would say step out during the festivals, because then there's always someone you're enjoying it with.
We've been doing Travel, Explore, Celebrate Life for about 3 years now. Which means we have done about 3 Diwali specials now, and 3 Christmas specials. We've done Holi specials. And every time we think about doing a special, the first thought that comes to my mind is, will it be a repeat of everything? And if I really think about after recording this episode, nothing was repeated, because last year's Diwali special was something totally different. Last year's Christmas special was about just Christmas markets. So I think with every episode, we may think that something could get repeated, but every time I get something new that I should be doing. Like my takeaway from this episode is probably spending New Year's under the stars, because I never thought of that, right? And our listeners' takeaway would be something totally different. And I would urge the listeners to actually comment about what your takeaway from this episode is. But thanks a lot for giving us this insight, as always, on this episode. And wherever you travel to, I'm sure you're going to have fun, but better take notes, because you're going to make many episodes about these destinations. So on this note, let's end it.
Sure.
Whenever you're watching this episode, whether it's during Diwali, Happy Diwali. If it's during Christmas, Merry Christmas. And if it's during New Year's, Happy New Year. But one thing we'll leave you with, it's the festival season, and the festival season means you have to celebrate life with your loved ones wherever you are. Whether you're at home, whether you're traveling, just keep celebrating life. And we'll see you the next time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.